Good morning and welcome to Morning Talk on Channel 11. We welcome you if you're in Bangkok, and we welcome you wherever you are in the Kingdom of Thailand. Today, throughout the Kingdom, people will be celebrating the birthday anniversary of Her Majesty the Queen of Thailand. And everybody working with Morning Talk would like to join the rest of the country in extending to Her Majesty our warm greetings on this very special day. This morning, of course, in Morning Talk, we will include travel, diary too. We'll look at an interesting country this morning, Korea, and I'm very pleased indeed that Mr. Richard Brown has come to the program. Mr. Brown, I've been following so many articles about you ever since I came here to live in 1990, and always wanting to meet you and always wanting to know exactly what you were doing. What's the name of your company?
Astral Gemstone Talisman, or in Thai, Krum Pradak Kudarami.
How many years has it been coming to Cornwall?
About 18.
Or how long have you lived here?
This last stint, I've lived here about 7 or 8 years.
That's all you here.
This is the kingdom of the gemstone industry, capital of the gemstone industry and jewelry industry, and it is also my favorite place in the world.
Once you've been here, you fall in love, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. I'm also married to a Thai.
Well, you fell in love. In a double way. When you first came here, were you working with gemstones?
Yes, I was. I was mostly buying them for importing into the United States. And Mahadi was the Astral Gemstone Talisman side, using them for other purposes and adornment, and trying to get to the bottom of that whole concept. But it's taken about 18 years to really unravel the whole mystery.
What is the mystery?
The mystery is the relationship between gemstones and other elements in nature and the 9 planets, recognized by the Sidereal, or the Asian system of astrology. Mm-hmm. And that's just a very, very brief explanation of it.
How did you study it?
Well, I was living as a monk for 7 years in India prior to that.
Whereabouts in India?
In Vrindavan, India, which is about 80 kilometers outside of Delhi. It's a very sacred, holy place, the birthplace of Lord Krishna, which is worshipped by millions of Hindus throughout the world. And I went to live there at a time when there were no other foreigners there. No one spoke English. And I stayed there for 7 years studying Sanskrit.
Why did you go there?
Well, there were several reasons. One of the reasons was to avoid the Vietnam War.
That's a good reason.
Which at the time was bearing down heavily on me. And I had no interest whatsoever in that war. And so rather than go to Canada or some other place, I had already interest in Sanskrit and Indology and in Asian philosophies and beliefs. And so I went to India to study.
And you stayed 7 years?
Yes, 7 years.
Did you become involved with gemstones there at all?
No, not at all. I never had even considered gemstones up until leaving the monastery. What happened was a good friend of mine, who I hadn't seen in years, he discovered or was involved in the discovery of a secret ruby mine in South India. But he didn't speak any of the local languages and didn't know his way around, so he asked my help. He had gotten financial support from George Harrison and Peter Sellers, two celebrities from England, and he had built a cutting factory, and he needed me to assist him in this. So my interest was immediately, what do the Vedas or the Sanskrit books have to say about gems? Mm-hmm. And every book I could get my hands on related gems to planets. And so when I ended up in Bangkok to get some of these stones cut by my friend, I checked out what I could in relation to a Western point of view, and they have gemstones for months or anniversaries and so many purposes, but they have no explanation whatsoever as to why these stones are believed to have any powers, or how they have powers, or where these powers come from, or how to channel them. There's basically a big void there in that question. But the Eastern point of view was that there are 9 planets, they're traveling through space, they're varying speed, they're pushing energy just like a truck that goes past you pushes energy. They're pushing electromagnetic energy, gravitational energy, they're pushing color waves that are measured in long wavelengths and short wavelengths. Mm-hmm. And these energies affect the cosmos. And even as we sit here talking right now, I wonder how many people really consider that this planet that we're sitting on so comfortably is flying through space at extremely high speed, intermingling with other planets around the sun, in the midst of so many other material bodies. And all these planets are pushing energy, electromagnetic and gravitational and color energy throughout the cosmos, and they're affecting each other. And so the science of how these planets affect humans and animals and plants, and how the humans, animals, and plants are affected by the elements in nature as they relate to those planets, that's the science of zoology, as I understand it.
It's very, very complicated.
Very complicated.
And now it's become further complicated by the fact that you use the word talisman.
Mhm.
Where does that fit into it all?
I took the word talisman from the Sanskrit dictionary, Vishwa Kosa Sanskrit dictionary. They use the word kavacha, which literally means a shield, like you to block, to ward off an evil. It also means amulet. It also means talisman. Talisman is probably the least understood, but the most popular of the three choices I had. So I went ahead to use talisman to give the understanding that using gemstones not just for personal adornment, but for their power as well.
So do you look at each stone and say that this stone has a particular power?
Yes, I do, and whether or not that power is good or bad, depending on the quality of the stone.
Can the same power be good or bad for everybody, or does it depend on the relationship between the stone and the person?
No, the relationship between the stars and the person. You can say as an example, you look at a person's sidereal or eastern horoscope, and you see, oh, all right, the sun at the time of their birth was positioned in Aries, in the zodiac or Rasi sign of Aries. Well, that's maximum strength. Out of the 12 zodiac signs that the sun can be positioned in, it was positioned in Aries, maximum strength. That means for that person, the sun is very beneficial. Now, for another person, the sun might be located in a debilitated zodiac sign, which is 180 degrees opposite, which means that for that person, the sun is not beneficial. They'll be lacking in courage, they'll be lacking in determination, and they will be very timid. But a person with a very strong sun will have the opposite personality. He'll be very bold and courageous. Now, the sun is in other zodiac signs that denote other things, like either weak condition or strong condition. It will give a different effect. So if we're going to recommend a ruby or a red stone or a sunstone to someone, you have to first of all use the sun, favorable stone. And it's as simple as this: lucky planet equals lucky stone.
Isn't it fascinating?
I think so.
I think it's very, very fascinating. When I began reading articles about you in the Bangkok newspapers, I was interested, and I can see how people could become more and more involved. And people must be thinking now before they buy a stone.
Well, a lot of the people that you have come across, even though they understand or they believe that we're onto something here, we have not invented or created this. We've simply uncovered it.
Yeah.
It's an ancient science that's already in the Sanskrit books for thousands of years. But they don't realize that quality is very important. And I give an example of eyeglasses. Eyeglasses can be explained. They have a power. They enhance a person's vision. But if they're cracked, then they might as well have no glasses at all. So a cracked gemstone was considered by the Vedas, the ancient Sanskrit books, to be harmful and to have no good effects, in the same way that a cracked radio crystal is not going to pick up the radio waves and transmit them properly. So a cracked gemstone, if you look upon it as a crystal, that picking up alpha waves or color energy waves, it is not going to work properly if it's defective. And so many people are using defective stones, even rich people. I see even very wealthy cars with great big rubies that are no bigger than a brick. and they ask me what I think. I say you should bury it back in the ground. Don't even give it to your worst enemy.
Mr. Brown, people can consult with you, can't they?
Yes, good one.
In balcony building?
Yes, in Langfang Balcony.
In Soilang Suan.
Mm-hmm.
You would not believe the trouble that I had. First, I was wanting to talk to you when you were in Ceylon, and I didn't get through, and I couldn't get through. And then, because Kun Valerie's office is in Balcony Building in Soilang Suan, I saw your name, and I thought, now we can talk about it in Morning Talk.
Determination pays off.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much for coming to the program this morning. Anyone that's born a Capricornian like I am, and in fact with Capricorn rising, it's sure to be determined. People say that we are the goats that climb to the top of the Rocky Mountain. When we get to the top, we look at the view and say, it's wonderful. What will I do next? Next, I'm very pleased indeed to welcome Valerie McKenzie and her guest, who this morning will take you to Korea.